So, I want to talk about something. I have been in London for a week now, and by no means is that an adequate amount of time to get a proper feel for social class and structure here, race relations, all of that stuff, because we know those things are very layered, very nuanced, and they run on for generations and generations. So, getting a snapshot view isn't always the most accurate depiction of a situation or circumstance, but I've had a very interesting observation since I've been here. The white people have been overly helpful, overly friendly, whereas the people of color have not. When I say people of color, I'm talking about everybody except black people. Now, that's not a blanket statement. I don't mean every single one of them, but I have noticed enough of them, right? So I've had several encounters. The first I really noticed was a few days ago, prepping our set for our shoot. This person, I'm going to call her Asian Karen because that's exactly what she was. She came over, demanded to know who we were while we were filming, while all the film equipment, who gave us permission to do that, and who's this person's name, how can I reach them, all of this stuff. It had absolutely nothing to do with her. She had no bearing on the situation whatsoever. She just walked by, saw that we were set up near where she was working, and she felt like we were wrong for being there. And I had a feeling I knew why, because her tone was very hostile. And it was very frustrating, and it got to the point where I was losing my patience with her, and someone else had to step in and kind of diffuse the situation because they saw that I was about 2 seconds from going off. That bothered me for the rest of that evening because there was a clear message that you are not supposed to be here. You don't belong here. And that never sits well with me because in 2024, why am I not allowed to take up space? Why is it that me and my crew of predominantly black people are not allowed to take up space? We have all the permissions, we have all the forms, we have everything we need. Yet you felt it was your duty, Asian Karen, to come and police us when you had no power, authority, or jurisdiction. After that situation, the person that intervened told me that she probably thought we were African, and that's why. They said not that makes it right, but Africans have a heavier stigma over here than black British people. Now that's not to say that black British people don't experience racism or microaggressions or anything of the sort, but it's far worse when you speak and they hear that you are not British. It's okay if you're black and British, you're still black, but it's not as bad as being African, which I find very interesting. Horrible, wrong, but it's a very interesting mindset to have. And then there's a laundromat not far from my flat, right up the street actually. Easiest one to get to. But every time I go, there seems to be an issue. They're always closed. They're closing early. They have repairs, something. So tonight I'm asking the lady, what's going on? Like, can I not use the services? And she comes to the door because I'm knocking on the window because she has a grate down. The door is locked. She comes and barks really roughly, what you want? Like as if I'm annoying her when I'm trying to give you business. You're the neighborhood laundromat, right? But it's been very clear the last 3 times I've gone there and tried to use their services that she seemed to be annoyed by me and didn't want me there. Now, as to what her exact ethnicity or nationality is, I can't say, but it's very clear that she's not white and she is not black. She is somewhere in the Asian diaspora, very, very brown. I'm guessing she could be easily from one of the styles, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, something like that. She's looks to be in one of those ethnicities. I could be wrong, but I leave there. There's another laundromat, probably a half mile up the road, if that. more of a hassle. I don't want to go there. It's coin only, so I have no cash. I have no coins. I have to go to a bank, get money from an ATM, then go and beg people at several stores to give me change while I'm lugging around this duffel bag full of dirty laundry. And I'm fully aware of how it looks. I'm not too scruffy today. I'm clean. I'm well dressed for an evening around, on the town running errands. But I know how it can look to some people. So I'm very, very conscious of this guy carrying around this duffel bag of dirty laundry asking for change. And I'm trying to phrase my wording exactly because I just feel the stereotypes coming at me, or, the prejudices. And it could be my own insecurities, my own self-consciousness. But after experiencing certain things, I just didn't want to invite any more unwanted negative attention or trouble on myself, right? So I'm standing at the corner, waiting to cross to get to the ATM across the street. And this young Arab guy comes and stands next to me. He's shorter than me, smaller than me, in mass. He has earphones in his ear, and he's talking. So I'm thinking he's on the phone. I'm minding my business. And he starts talking louder, and I'm like, oh, he must be having a really excited conversation. Again, I'm in my own world thinking about what I need to do to get my errands done this evening and what a hassle it is trying to chase down money to get change, to use this coin laundry, which that's a whole other thing. Why is there coin only laundry in 2024 and you don't have a change machine on the premises? But that's neither here nor there. So as the guy continues to get louder and louder, I look over and I see he's looking at me out of the corner of his eye, and he looks away and he looks back and looks away. And he says, "You come over here with your black magic, ruining people's lives and laughing about it. They need to do something about immigration, these effing Africans, blah, 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 blah." He keeps going on and on and on while intermittently looking at me back and forth, right? So I'm taken aback, and another lady, a young Asian lady, comes and stands behind me. She's waiting to cross the street as well. She looks up and kind of has this quizzical look in her eyes, like, is this guy okay? Is he sane? What is going on here? And so he keeps talking and saying all these inflammatory things, these anti-African things, and I finally say, "Are you talking to me?" And he looks at me, doesn't say anything, but he keeps ranting. And I step closer. "Are you talking to me?" And he says something else, and I just kind of lose it, and I pretty much curse his ass out. So he steps off the curve and walks off into the street. And I'm like, "You freaking idiot." So that told me a lot. That told me even more than what I was, anticipating in this situation. There seems to be, but yeah, sorry, my gimbal collapsed. But there seems to be this stigma here that Africans are coming here and using black magic on people to ruin their lives, and that's why they're the big bad villain, and they're not welcome here. And it just echoed everything I just got away from in the States. We saw how Nacho Satan and his lieutenants had this whole campaign about Haitians eating people's cats and dogs and all of that BS. It's the same thing here, and I feel like it's even worse. It's the just like we've seen how the Latinos, Hispanics, and all those other minority groups that voted for Mango Mussolini, they're now seeing that he's really not for them. How they didn't see it in the beginning, I do not know. None of us know. That is just a level of stupidity and idiocy that I frankly quite can't understand. Can't quite understand. Sorry. But it seems to be worse here when it comes to the xenophobia, and it seems that perhaps. And I don't know this to be true, this is just speculation and conjecture here, right? It seems that the white people here don't have to spend as much time or energy being racist or upholding white supremacy because the people of color are doing it for them. It seems to be the same thing we're seeing in the US, where These people of color are feeling like, I'm here, I got here, I have my green card, or I have residency, citizenship, nationality here, right? Or I was born here, I have the British accent, so that makes me better than those people over there. Even though those people over there are my cousins, my aunts, my uncles. They're not from here, they're not proper English people, right? I'm proper English, so that makes me better than them. And I don't want any of them coming over here and ruining it for me. It's very interesting how white supremacy has taught people of color to cannibalize themselves. And I think that is the next great hurdle we have to overcome in this fight for civil rights. It's not just fighting back against white supremacy. It's not just fighting back against systemic oppression and violence. It's fighting back against the programming that we as people of color across the world have had to absorb generation after generation after generation. It's fighting back against the xenophobia that's been programmed into some of us. It's fighting back against the self-hate. It's fighting back against the internalized need for white validation. It's fighting back against the need to prove that you're better than the next man, woman, child, they, them, that looks like you, speaks like you, comes from the same culture as you. But because you've been ingratiated or ingrained or adopted into a certain society, culture, or social status, you think you're above the law, you think you're above the rules, you think you're beyond reproach, you're the exception when you're not. Because as it's been said time and time again, when they come for one of us, they come for all of us. And none of us are ever truly safe, because it's only a matter of time before you get that knock on the door. And when the Gestapo come for you, who's going to be there to help you? Who's going to be there to save you? You thought you were different. You thought you were accepted. You thought you weren't like the rest of us. But the time is going to come when they show you that you are just like the rest of us in their eyes. So yeah, that is something I just wanted to speak on for a little bit. It's heartbreaking. It's honestly and truly heartbreaking. I was hoping to escape a lot of that kind of foolishness when I came here. And I know racism, bigotry, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, all the horrible things, I know they're everywhere, right? But I did not expect to see so much of that from people who are considered ethnic minorities, who are truly the global majority, rather. I should start saying that more. But I didn't expect to see that from people who look closer to what I looked like. They seem to be more zealous about that here than even in the States. And London is a very, very diverse place. When we talk about the US being a melting pot, London is a super melting pot. So to see these people come over, have a better life for themselves, or be born here, and instantly have a disdain for anyone that's not like them, who's not proper British, who is African, And it's wild that people here always make the assumption that I'm African until they hear me speak. And I get that. I wouldn't ordinarily have a problem with that if it didn't come with the negative connotations of what being African means, right? With their negative stereotypes like, Africans are coming here to practice black magic and hurt people. What? Do you really think someone risked life and limb, spent resources that took them years to accumulate, spend years applying for offices, applying at offices for regulations and forms and all of this stuff, to come over here and make a freaking voodoo doll of you just to torture you? Get for freaking real. I'm trying not to curse on here. But it's so interesting how these people will believe and propagate these myths, fantasies, and lies and harmful rhetoric about other groups of people. And for me, that just shows how insecure and threatened they feel. I think internally, deep down, they don't feel safe themselves. So they have to try and align themselves with white supremacy in order to show that, hey, I'm like you, white people. I'm one of the good ones. I'm not like them. So they have to create villains in their minds and in society to separate themselves so that they can try and find a place of safety amongst white supremacy, even though that's a total fallacy. It's a false sense of safety and security, if anything at best. But yeah, chime in, let me know your thoughts. And I'm over here for 4 more weeks, so this may be an ongoing discussion, or I may even do, maybe one more part, who knows. But I'm interested to see how the rest of my experiences are going to be over here in that regard for the next month. And I don't want to end on a sour note. I've met some wonderful people of color as well. I've met Black people here, cool. Like, most of them remind me of New Yorkers, and people think New Yorkers are rude, but not necessarily. They're just very matter of fact. So you have a lot of matter of fact Black people here, like what it is, what it ain't, what you want, let's do it, boom. Pleasantries and small talk is not a huge thing for a lot of people here. People tend to be a little bit insular if they don't know you. So they're just going to stick to themselves. They'll help you if you ask for help, but they'll stick with themselves. But for the most part, I have met cool white people. Like I said, a lot of them, most of the ones I've met have gone out of their way to help me. I've met lots of cool Black people so far in this first week in filming and all. I've met some cool Asian people. I've met cool Arabs who are also technically Asian. I've met a lot of cool people from different ethnic groups, right? But what I'm speaking to are those specific people. They're very loud, very vocal. And unfortunately, I don't think they're in a small minority, as we would like to say. I think there are a lot of them that feel that way about other people of color. And I've experienced that a lot more here than I have in the US. So that's why I just want to speak on it. Usually in the US, especially being from the South, being born and raised in Alabama, I'm used to white people coming at me sideways with racist intentions and foolishness. But I'm not used to catching it so much from people of color like I have over here. So it's very, very interesting. But yes, once again, this is getting lengthy. I don't want to ramble. I've been trying to be consistent and concise. This might be a jumble, as you guys know. I'm not a vlogger. I don't really do this, but I'm giving it a shot just to document my experience here. So yeah, chime in the comments. Let me know your thoughts, feelings, whatever. And yeah, I'll check in later.